Hi all, today I am going to show you how to create pressed leaf for fall foliage. Pressed leaf note cards, perfect to use for the holiday season. So get out your inks and go take a hike to find some super cool fall foliage in your area, and I'll show you how to make these.
When we are out looking for our leaves, one of the things that we need to be really conscientious about is the fact that leaves are a really important habitat for numerous types of wildlife species over the winter. So we really want to be careful about not removing any of the leaves that actually have little critters underneath, which can be really cool to try to search for. So let's go find our leaves to create our little greeting cards for the holiday season and take a look at the leaf litter and see what we can find.
Look at the leaf litter here. We can see that this is covering the surface of the soil. Here we've got some worm castings and some fur. Could be some sort of animal. But we got some nice organic matter here. And all of this stuff here is going to eventually decompose and feed the trees and the plant life around it. As we search through the leaf litter, here's a perfect example why we need to be careful. Is an egg case that we can see on the underside of this leaf. So if we were just to say, hey, I like this leaf and bring it inside, well, we might bring some buggies in with it. And not only do we not want the bugs inside, but now we're removing them from their natural habitat. So always be sure to flip your leaf over and see if there's anyone living underneath. Keep in mind that for this project, we don't need the most beautiful, stunning fall foliage in colors. We can use these kind of brown, end of the fall foliage color for this, because what we're going to do is simply stamp and use ink over top of the leaf to then press onto our paper. So we're really taking a printing or an imprint of the leaf. So you just want to check. No critters on the back. This might be a really great leaf to use.
To think about with your leaves is not only what's on the underside, but take a look at the various species that you have found. How many different types of leaves were you able to collect for this activity? And think about the biodiversity of your area. How are these trees important to the various plants and wildlife that surround them?
Now, once you have your leaves, kind of spread them out. Take a look at what sort of species you have. We have the red maple, the silver maple. You can see that they are similar in shape, but this one has much finer dissections and lobes in it. People call it more feathery than the red maple, but you can definitely see the red veins and the petiole that give it its name. I also have one of each type of leaf from the sassafras tree. Sassafras, just like the mulberry, has different types of leaves on the tree. There are 3 different types. You can see the mitten, the lobe, and what I call the chicken foot. Once you have them laid out and you've examined the different species that you have available for you to use, think about how they look. Do any of them look flat enough that you could use fresh right away? Or are some kind of floppy or wobbly or don't lie quite right? And that'll make pressing the leaves and inking them a little bit challenging. So if you have any leaves that need some flattening, this is what we'll do next. Take a really thick, heavy book. I have my biology textbook from undergrad. This is a hefty tome. And you're going to open up to the back. Chapter 52 Review, Key Concepts of Alpine Trees. Cool. And you're gonna take paper towels and line the page because ultimately you want to absorb any moisture that the leaf has, which is what is causing it to crinkle a little bit. You also don't want to ruin your book. And then just place your leaves on that paper towel page. Close the book. Ta-da! We have a very quick DIY flower press. If you have an actual flower press, you can use that too. All right, when you think your leaves are ready, you can do a test. So I took a pin oak. I had a couple of the pin oak leaves, so I knew if it didn't turn out right or I didn't like it, I had other pin oaks in there. Then I stamped some ink on it and then pressed it on. So once you have your leaves, you're happy with how they're pressed, you can get started. To get started, if you would like to create note cards, you'll need a sample note card and some thick cardstock paper. And all you're going to want to do is trace the size of the card onto that paper. That way you know where to cut and how much plant space you have. Then you'll cut out on that line. This scrap you can use to create labels, bookmarks, whatever else you want. So save that. Take your note card size and then fold it in half along the edges. Crease it. And now you have your blank note card. All right, I have my color selections, I have my leaf selections. Now what I'm going to do is take my note card, the side that I want printed, and I'm going to press that onto a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to take my selected leaf and let's start with a mulberry. And I am going to take my ink pad, whatever color I desire, and I am going to take my little ink pad, I'm going to put it on my scrap piece of paper, I am going to stamp. When I'm ready, I take my note card, put it on my scrap paper, and I'm going to lay the leaf ink side down very carefully. I'm going to let it stay right there. I'm going to take my brayer, roll over top of the leaf. You want to be very careful that you don't move your leaf. And ta-da! You should have some sort of super cool design. You can see where the ink didn't lay down perfectly on the leaf, but honestly, that's totally okay because these are real. These are real leaves. These are not fake. These are not drawn on. It's okay to look natural. Once you are happy with your cards that you have made, now we can start to kind of decorate them a little bit. So one thing that I am going to do is do kind of like calligraphy over top that just says a word like celebrate or thank you, things like that, to kind of just decorate it a little bit more.